One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest tells the story of Randall McMurphy, played by Jack Nicholson. He pleads insanity after statutory rape of a 15-year-old, but he isn't actually mentally ill, he just wants to avoid hard labour. There isn't much plot really. He meets all these other nut jobs including Danny DeVito, Christopher Lloyd, Brad Dourif, that guy from Ghost, the dude from The Hills Have Eyes, and hey, Scatman Crothers! So we have the Joker, the Penguin, Doc Brown, Chucky, a ghost, The Hills Have Eyes, and the black guy from The Shining. Cool.
Isn't that a dandy?
They kind of just have some crazy adventures together, but Nicholson discovers that he may actually be there forever and wants to escape. The film, directed by Amadeus director Miloš Forman, was actually based on the 1952 novel of the same name by Ken Kesey. Originally, Kirk Douglas, who played the lead in the Broadway stage version, had purchased the rights to the story and tried for 10 years to bring it to Hollywood, but he couldn't find a studio that was willing. He eventually called it quits and gave the rights to his son Michael, but his dad was now considered too old for the part at the age of 60. Miloš Forman gained their attention with his 1967 Czechoslovakian movie The Fireman's Ball, and they quickly met with him, going over the script one page at a time to see what he could do compared to other filmmakers. To me, the story was not just literature but real life. The life I lived in Czechoslovakia from my birth in 1932 until 1968. The Communist Party was my Nurse Ratched, telling me what I could and could not do, what I was or was not allowed to say, where I was and was not allowed to go, even who I was and was not.
I hear what you're saying.
Originally, the author was actually asked to write the script, but it didn't work out and led to financial disagreements. 20th Century Fox showed interest to help distribute and fund the entire project, but only if they changed the ending so that Nicholson's character survives. They refused and went elsewhere.
Is that crazy enough for you?
Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, James Caan and Steve McQueen were all offered the lead but turned it down, and Burt Reynolds was also considered before they set their sights on the man himself. Production was also put on hold for 6 months as they wanted Nicholson in the lead, but his schedule was all tied up, but this only gave them more time to get everything ready. Michael Douglas's oldest friend was Danny DeVito, who was one of the first to be cast, and Shelley Duvall was even nearly picked as one of the ladies Nicholson sneaks in, just to complete the Shining reunion.
Every damn bit.
The casting director screened 1974's Thieves Like Us to see if she was right for the part, but noticed Louise Fletcher and wanted her as Nurse Ratched instead. Ouch.
Well, it don't hurt him either, does it?
The part was offered to Anne Bancroft, Ellen Burstyn, Faye Dunaway, Colleen Dewhurst, Jane Fonda, Audrey Hepburn, Angela Lansbury, Jean Moreau, Shirley MacLaine and Geraldine Page, but they all turned it down before Fletcher got the part. She wasn't too happy though, as the actors who played the patients were allowed to laugh and have fun, whereas her character was cold and strict and seemingly heartless. Towards the end of the production, she allegedly removed her dress and stood there just in her panties to prove that she wasn't a cold-hearted monster. Video or it didn't happen.
Shut up!
Rehearsals took place in early 1975 where the actors watched real patients go about their daily routines to study them. Some even watching genuine electroconvulsive therapy taking place. Filming began in January in a real mental hospital in Oregon and took 3 months. Some real patients were actually used in the film, but the cast started to lose faith in the entire project. The director refused to let any of them see anything they shot on the day, and Nicholson even began to doubt his own performance. Eventually, Michael Douglas convinced him to show Jack something, and he was able to finally calm his nerves, though it is highly speculated that Nicholson straight up refused to talk to the director. They had a disagreement over his character, so had to speak through the cinematographer thereafter. Jack thought that the medical staff's authority being ignored should only begin after his character joins the fray and causes havoc, whereas the director thought that they should already be an unruly budge before he joins. Nicholson was so angry at the director that he refused to even contribute to any of the DVD's special features.
I understand.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was released on November the 19th, 1975, becoming the third highest grossing that year, earning $109 million, making it at the time the 7th highest grossing film in history, and was met with universal love. The film went on to pick up 5 Academy Awards for Best Actor for Jack, Best Actress for Louise, Best Direction, Best Picture and Best Adapted Screenplay, making it the second of only 3 films in history to win the Big 5, 6 Golden Globes for Best Drama, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Screenplay and New Star of the Year for Brad Dourif, 6 BAFTAs for Best Film, Best Direction, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor and Best Editing. The American Film Institute picked it as the 33rd greatest movie ever made, but amazingly, the author of the original book did not like the film. He claimed that he refused to watch it all, and tiny bits he did know about it he wasn't a fan of. In fact, he said that they were completely butchering his story, and he even sued them because the novel is shown from the chief Indian character's perspective and the film wasn't. He claims they had an agreement to not make changes from the source material, and they completely broke it. He wanted 5% of the film's gross and $800,000 for damages. He settled for just 2.5% of its gross, but years later he claimed that he was flipping through some channels when he stumbled on a late night movie that seemed somewhat interesting, but after a few minutes he realised it was this and instantly switched over.
Your bullshit.
I'll start off by saying, what's actually with this opening music? Sounds like they're strangling a peacock.
Medication time. Medication time.
We're gonna have a problem here.
Oh, and Nicholson wastes no time auditioning for his role of the Joker. Like, this is literally the first time we see him. And then it kind of goes a bit downhill.
How?
What's the play? Spade.
Wow, that's just racist. And the bad thing is that was actually Nicholson's suggestion.
Oh, good.
Jack does steal the show. Not to take away anything from the other actors, they all do amazing, but every time he's on screen, he just embodies this part.
Well, the real reason that you've been sent over here is because they wanted you to be evaluated
Yeah.
to determine whether or not you're mentally ill. This is the real reason. Why do you think they might think that?
Well, as near as I can figure out, it's because I, fight and fuck too much.
In the penitentiary?
No. You mean why?
The comedy is dark, but so funny.
Statutory rape, that's true, is it not, this time?
Absolutely true. But, Doc, she was 15 years old, going on 35, Doc, and she told me she was 18, and she was very willing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I practically had to take to sewing my pants shut.
That's just an awful defense, but the creepiest part is the guy seems to agree with him. Like, yeah, man to man, she was underage, but hey, she was willing and she was hot. Yeah, up top. Probably mates with Machine Gun Kelly.
Yes, that's correct.
The first time we see all of them together, they have the meeting to talk about their issues, and it goes on for a bit too long. I mean, the characters are fun to watch and everything, and it definitely has a great lineup of actors, but they all argue, then it settles down, and then they argue again. It just gets a bit repetitive and a tad too long.
Come on, I'll show you. Old Indian game.
We slaughter all of your people, steal your land, and then celebrate it every November. It's also evident here. Jack tries to teach him to play basketball, and I guess it's quite amusing at first, but then it just drags, and it comes across like they're trying too hard. Now, I actually love the movie. The characters are amazing, it's funny, intense and everything, but there isn't really a plot. That's not a criticism, it is actually quite impressive. It doesn't have an actual narrative, and yet I still don't get bored. They're just kind of doing random things, but the characters are so fun to watch, you don't care. Then we get this long scene where Jack tries to convince the loonies to vote to watch the baseball game.
Want to watch the World Series? Come on in, pal. This could be a big moment for you. Now, you want to watch a baseball game? You want to watch baseball? Just raise that hand up. Just raise the hand up. What do you say? Sorry. Bancini, old horse. What do you say? You want to watch the ball game on TV? Huh? Want to watch the ball game? Baseball? World Series? What do you say, pal? You tired? Just raise your hand up, Bancini. Watch the ball game, huh?
Do something! Wait, I'm not actually bored. Don't do something! I'm so confused.
You're so fucking dumb, I can't believe it.
Also, Jack is way too obsessed with baseball. He brings it up every day and literally begs for everyone to vote and tries to find a loophole and even goes nuts over it.
The meeting was adjourned and the vote was closed.
But the vote was 10-8.
No, it wasn't.
I only count 9 votes, Mr. McMurphy.
He only counts 9. Only 9. It's a landslide.
There are 18 patients on this ward, Mr. McMurphy.
Jack failed maths. But in a really charming scene, he pretends that the game actually is playing and commentates to what he thinks is going on as all the others join in and use their imaginations, or sheer insanity, to enjoy the game anyway, much to the chagrin of the nurses.
Stop this immediately!
Stop having fun!
Miss Ratchet's one of the finest nurses we've got in this institution.
Well, I don't want to break up the meeting or nothing, but she's something of a cunt, ain't she, Doc?
Jack's a savage.
Been observing you here now for the last 4 weeks, and I don't see any evidence of mental illness.
Oh hey, it's my doctor! Douche?
What do you mean, sir?
So he does eventually escape, but you know, all the trouble that Andy went through in Shawshank, and Jack just has to get a boost up over a fence. And then he somehow busts the others out and takes them away on a fishing boat.
You better quit on this. They'll throw you in the can again, you know.
No, they won't. We're nuts.
I love these characters! Seriously, all we're doing is watching them put hooks through sardines, and I'm not bored! And it's hilarious to see loads of crazy people mess up sailing a boat this much. And the others don't seem to realise that they've escaped yet. Somehow. But then they go back! Why would they go back? Why didn't they just escape? They had freedom!
I'll be seeing you on the outside, you know what I mean?
You were on the outside! You were done! You were miles away! Just, no, you came back for some reason!
Jesus, I mean, you guys do nothing but complain about how you can't stand it in this place here, and then you haven't got the guts just to walk out?
But you were outside! The whole world is your oyster, and yet you could have walked! What the hell are you on? I also love Miss Ratchet. She's so badass and just handles everything so calmly, no matter how much they try to push her buttons. But on the opposite side of calm...
If you had obeyed the rules in the first place, you wouldn't have lost your money.
I love that reaction. But my god, this Chestwick guy with the glasses is so annoying. He just repeats himself over and over.
And I want something done! Ain't that right? That's right, now will you sit down? No, I won't! I want something done! Sit down! I want something done! I want something done! I want something done!
Shut up! But hey, this movie created the character who only pretends they can't talk.
Not being able to speak is not the same as not speaking.
Oh look, Nicholson is trying to escape. Yeah, if only he had a boat.
My prayers have been answered, Turkle. Come on and see.
Don't trust him, hide the axe!
Everything all right, Mr. Turkle?
Oh, everything just fine, ma'am. Just fine. Just fine.
I dropped a cup.
And I do think the film is too long. Around the 100-minute mark, it begins to get old and dragged with them getting drunk and doing random things. As much as I love watching these characters cause a ruckus with Jack Nicholson, I kinda just want to go home.
We get to Canada.
What, you'll pussy out and just go back to the hospital again?
Did Billy Bibbit leave the grounds of the hospital, gentlemen? I want an answer to my question.
Oh, now she wants to know if somebody's escaped. She didn't give a damn when they all went sailing and fishing. In fact, that's never even mentioned again.
No! 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 No!
Yeah? Well, I'm gonna go and possess a doll, you hear me? Oh look, they're escaping. If only they had a chance to do that earlier. And I love Christopher Lloyd's face when the chief breaks through the window. He invented overacting. This movie is awesome. It's over 2 hours long and I don't think it needed to be, but the characters are still amazingly fun to watch. It has some bizarre charm to it where you can't look away. It has a star-studded cast, though a lot of them wouldn't become big until years later, but it's definitely a film that has something for everyone and a movie that's worth talking about. Did you guys notice my voice is slowly going?